Vision Intellect Enterprises presents the next generation of digital environmental controllers. Equipped with 4 temperature sensors, 1 humidity, 1 carbon dioxide, 1 ammonia and 1 negative pressure sensor, this controller is capable of running the entire control shed from day one. Incredibly flexible settings allows the controller to be modified according to your needs. This is the main interface of the controller. You get the status bar at the top, where you can easily access the settings, the historical curves of the temperature, humidity and gas sensors, and the alarm information. Here you can view the age of the bird and the name of the house. Below this section you can see the average temperature and the target temperature of the house. Next to it you can see the current ventilation grade, and next to it you can see the air inlet positions. If you look down here you can see the readings each individual temperature sensor gives out. As you can see, we have connected 4 temperature sensors, each of them giving out their own reading. Above the temperature sensor you can view the humidity sensor reading and see O2, ammonia and negative pressure reading. This section is for the fan groups. This controller has 10 fan groups, each with its own display. If the fan icon is moving, it means that particular fan group is running. Here you can see the rest of the controls, for example the heater, cooling motor, fogger and timer control. The first setting that we will access is the clock of the controller. First we enter the year, then the month, and lastly the date. The time is 11:25 in the morning. This is a 24-hour clock, so midnight will be 0000. After setting the clock we will calibrate the temperature sensors. Most of the farms use digital display temperature sensors, and the farm management likes to calibrate the sensors with the digital display sensors. Let's calibrate sensor number 3. As you can see, the sensor 3 is lower than sensor 2 by about 0.6 degrees. We will go into the settings and then into the sensors setting and calibrate sensor number 3 by increasing its value to 0.6, making it a total of 0.8. Now you can see how easy it was to calibrate the temperature sensor. Next we will look at the alarm settings. We have an array of alarms visible which are green when everything is working properly. If any sensor error occurs, the green will turn to red. As you can see here, once I disconnect the humidity sensor, the alarm turns red. Once I connect the sensor back, the alarm turns green again. All the alarms are recorded in the alarm history shown below. The first column shows the name of the alarm, second column shows the time when the alarm started, and the last column shows the time the alarm was recovered. The next setting we will access is the basic settings section, in which you can set the age of the bird and other such settings. We will go into the settings and then into the basic settings. Let's change the name of the house to Test. And here you can change the age of the bird. These are the basic settings you need to access before anything else. Now let's discuss about the target temperature. We go into the settings and then tap on the target temperature. There are 2 modes of the target temperature, fixed mode and curve mode. Let's look at the fixed mode first. Enter the desired value of the shed in this box, let's say 31. You will have to change this value every time the target temperature needs to be lowered. If you keep it in curve mode, the controller will follow these parameters. Starting from day 1 at 33 degrees till day 42 at 25.6 degrees. The target temperature in this case will drop gradually, and you will not need to adjust it every single day. Another setting of this controller regarding the target temperature is the target temperature mode. We go back into the settings section and then into the basic info section. Here you can see the box, target temperature mode. Tapping on it will change it from step to linear mode. In step mode the target temperature will change after every 24 hours, whereas in linear mode the controller will change the target temperature according to the curve every single hour. The next setting we will look at is the ventilation grade. We go into the settings and then into the vent grade option. The vent grade is spread over 3 pages, and in 24 grade, ventilation grade number 24 is for maximum ventilation, and grade 1 is for lowest ventilation. The first column indicates the number of grade. Second column indicates the temperature difference with respect to the target temperature. Here you can see an increment of 0.5 degrees in every grade. The next column indicates the starting temperature of each grade. For example, the first vent grade will activate at 33.5 degrees. The next 2 columns indicate the timers of fans in seconds. Here we set the on and off timer of fans. The next 4 columns show the variable speed fans. If you have variable speed fans installed, their speed can be set in percentage over here. The last 10 columns indicate the fan groups. As you can see, there are 10 fan groups. One fan group can be connected to multiple fans. Each column indicates separate fan group. Cross icon means this fan group will not run, half black circle indicates this fan group will run of timer, and the square icon means the fan group will run continuously. Let's dive deeper into the ventilation grades. The more increase in average temperature of the farm will increase the ventilation grade. Each time the average temperature of the farm increases 0.5 degrees, the ventilation grade will increase, and in result more fans will run. For example, if the average temperature of the farm rises to 34.5 degrees, meaning an increment of 1.5 degrees, the controller will increase ventilation grade to vent grade 3, and fan group 1 will start running continuously. This will continuously happen till the temperature is controlled, and once the temperature is controlled, the controller will start reducing vent grade till the grade 1 is reached again. An additional setting of the controller is the vent grade increase time. In system settings and then in ventilation you can view the ventilation grade increase time set to 10 seconds. Meaning the controller will delay the increase in ventilation grade for 10 seconds each time the temperature increase, so as to stop rapidly increasing the number of fans. Same is the case with ventilation grade reduce time delay. To stop rapidly shutting off fans, the controller waits a few seconds to see if the current number of fans is enough or not. If not, the controller changes the ventilation grade. An example where we increase the temperature of the farm and see the controller changing the ventilation grades. The temperature has reached 0.5 degrees above the target temperature. Now after a delay of 10 seconds the controller will increase the vent grade from 1 to 2. Now you can see the vent grade has increased from 1 to 2, and after another 10 seconds it will increase to 3 and will continuously do so till the temperature stops rising. Next we will look into the air inlet controls. By going into settings and then the air inlet section, we can see we have 4 connections for air inlet motors. 2 of them can be connected to the air inlets and 2 of them can be connected to the curtain system. Each inlet motor can be disabled and enabled. The work mode indicates what conditions affect the air inlet motor opening. Here we have 2 options, vent grade and negative pressure. If we keep it on vent grade, we can change the angles of air inlets on each vent grade. Just like vent grade of fans, this section is also divided into 24 grades. Each can be modified individually. We can change the percentage of opening of air inlet here. Let's look at an example where we increase the average temperature of the farm and see the increase in vent grade in response opening of air inlets to 10%. Here the vent grade has now increased and the air inlets have opened to 10%. Now after another 10 seconds the air inlets will open till 30% because that is the percentage set for ventilation grade 2. The next setting we will look at is the heater setting. The first box indicates the temperature difference, which will trigger the heater to turn on. Here we have negative 0.3 degrees, meaning the heater will turn on at 32.7. Here our average temperature has fallen below target and is now at 32.7 degrees, and respectively the heater has turned on. Going back into the heating setting, we look at the heating band. This is the temperature difference from the starting temperature. Here you can see the heating band is set to 0.5 degrees, meaning 0.5 degrees above the starting temperature, the heater will stop running. Here we have an option to stop the fans if the heater is running. If this option is set to no, the fans will not stop running even if the heater is operating. If this option is set to yes, the fans will stop running when the heater turns on and will remain still till the heater stops running. Next we will look into the cooling pump settings. Here we have the cooling pump operating in two different ranges. First we will change the reference box from absolute to relative. Absolute means the value entered is the value at which the cooling pump will turn on, and the relative means relative to the target temperature. For example, we enter the value 3 and 6 in these two ranges. Meaning when the temperature reaches 3 degrees above the target temperature, the cooling pump will turn on for range 1 and will run for 5 seconds, and then turn off for 300 seconds. If the temperature is still not controlled at that point, range 2 will be activated and the controller will run the cooling pump for 10 seconds to reduce the indoor temperature. Here is the maximum humidity allowed, and if the humidity reaches this value, the cooling pump motor will stop working. Here we have a box for working time. If you want to set a specific time for the controller to run the cooling pump motor and then stop working for the rest of the day, you can set the hours over here. The next setting we will look at is the humidity and gas. These boxes indicates the maximum humidity, carbon dioxide and ammonia points at which the farm is allowed to operate. Once the controller reaches this level, it attempts to reduce humidity by increasing ventilation grade. Air inlets will open for fresh air and ventilation fans will start running to reduce humidity and or expel dangerous gas buildup. Once the values reach lower points, the ventilation grade is reduced. Keep in mind this box over here marked allowed temperature. This box indicates the absolute low level of temperature the farm can be at. If the average temperature goes down to this point, this whole section will stop working to keep the temperature from going down any further. Let's look at the sensor settings once again. Whenever we connect a sensor, we have to manually enable the sensor so that we can view its value. Similarly, if a sensor is disconnected, the setting must be disabled to not raise any alarms. Next we will look at the alarm settings. We can individually set each of these low and high level values of alarms. This number is the value at which the alarm will be triggered. You can even activate or deactivate each alarm. There are settings for temperature, humidity, negative pressure, and gas alarms. Here are the settings for foggers. If you have a misting system or a fogging system installed which showers mist in the farm to reduce the temperature and increase the humidity immediately, you can use this section. You can see the relative values from 2 to 16 which indicate each step at which the controller will operate. For example, if the controller is 2 degrees above the target temperature, the fogger in this case will run for 30 seconds and then pause for 40 seconds till the temperature goes down. The last setting we will look at is the timer relay. This section is most commonly used to trigger the lighting controls on and off in the farm. If you want to run your lights on time control settings, you can manually set the starting and ending time and the controller will turn on or turn off the lights as required. This timer relay can also be used to connect to a separate fan which might be needed to run independently of the ventilation grade. That fan can be run on specific timer setting. So these were the basic settings and features of the new Linotouch controller.